Right, we're live. We're live, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say thank you to Anne Griffin there and Bob Hudson, ex-parachuting buddies of mine. I've been searching. I haven't got many videos or photographs from the days, but I've been searching for some of Anne. I can't find anything with Anne on at all. It's sad.
I remember one where I was only thinking about it while I was downstairs doing the dishes, and I'd been on a jump and I was so disappointed. I don't know why, maybe because it didn't come together or we didn't get enough height, and I was yak, bitching and moaning. I looked around, you had the camera on me like that video, and I wanted to say, fuck off, leave me alone, you know.
I've got a ton of stuff on VHS. You know the little tapes that we used to have back in the day? They were quite expensive. So what I used to do, I used to keep using the same ones. I used to just dump them onto VHS and then tape over the tape, because a lot of it, you'd get it set up in the plane and you'd have like 5-10 minutes of nothing, just the inside of the plane before you went. So no point in keeping it, it's all rubbish. Anyway, Bob, how are you, mate? How are you?
I'm really good. Yeah, I'm really good. It was interesting just to listen to them quickly talking about the video stuff and the filming of what we were doing back in the day. And my only regret, with what I now knowing what I do with my swimming and outdoor stuff, is the technology with the small GoPro action cameras. God, if we'd have had the technology back then for filming stuff, it would be a different story. I mean, I remember when everybody wanted our 200 jumps, our D license. That opened up a whole thing of stuff to do. For me, it was a frap app, and you got your camera on your head straight away. That fucking great big full-size VHS camera.
Oh God, yeah. I remember.
You see them today, and they've got like a little tiny GoPro camera on the round.
What we wouldn't have given for a GoPro, eh?
Oh God.
So we kind of missed it.
Well, I know for a fact that Anne and Terry's just here. All right, Terry, mate, how are you doing?
Hi, Terry.
Hi, Graham. Hi, Anne. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Terry.
Well, Anne and Terry were jumping long before me. I mean, Terry was my instructor when I did the course, the static line course.
Wow.
Him and Graham Kirkman. So, I mean, you guys are jumping way before me. Bob, I'm not too sure. Did we start at the same time, or were you before me as well?
88 I started.
I started in 88, so we must have been more or less the same, yeah.
Yeah.
I've still got my D license. Have you still got yours?
I've got all the paperwork. I don't know if it's current. Yeah, I've kept everything.
Oh, God, no. No, it'll have run out. It'll have run out ages ago.
My licenses, my, what do you call it? My logbooks. Got it all the memorabilia. Yeah.
My logbooks had gone west years ago, but these have all gone mouldy now. This is the pilot. But I've got it in here somewhere. Just so people know what we're talking about. I'll hold it up to the. Hang on, it's me green screen's acting. Look, there we go.
Yeah.
That was it. That was like a little.
Show us the picture then.
Huh?
Show us the picture.
The picture.
Does it look like you?
Hang on.
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad.
It's not too bad. This wasn't too bad.
I'll dig mine out.
Look,
We've got it there.
1 minute. I'll run upstairs and get mine for everyone.
Go for it. D license in 91. There it is. And for the benefit of people who've got no idea what a D license is, it's just like the end of your training. It's like, well, Terry can explain it better because he's the instructor. Go for it, Terry. Explain what the categories are, because you're the man.
The categories? You mean like the categories 1 to 8?
Or the D license. Was that
or 8 to D? Do you know from the only bits I was familiar with were categories 1 to 8. The A, B, C, and D, I've gone from memory now. I remember D license. I remember you getting your D license.
Yeah.
Because that was a classic filming. That you remember that when it was shown in the canteen when Roger got down.
Remind me, go on.
Well, the criteria on to qualify for your Cat D then was to close fourth on a formation on a three-way.
Okay.
And and you and you, you closed on this three-way, and then did a forward somersault into the formation. It all it wobbled all over the place, then it opened out into a four-way, and that was it. Cat D.
Well, at least you got.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I don't
Oh my
remember.
God.
I wish I'd had the video.
They changed the actors. They made it a lot more strict. You had to close fourth and then do 4 points as well after that.
Yeah.
I think that was sometime in the 90s, in the maybe early to mid 90s.
Yeah. I didn't do much points until I was the cameraman. I was just doing the camera pretty much all the time. In fact, if you look at this picture, Terry, there's you. I've got a wall behind me, so I've got to do it from the screen. There's you on the end there. But if you look at me, I'm just there next to Jack. I haven't got a camera on there, so I don't know what we were doing on that jump.
I can't remember. I know there's a few times when on occasions when I went up with people that I didn't normally jump with, it was usually to try and fly a 5-way off or do something different.
So we might have done CRW because I only ever did it with you.
Yeah, but Blanche's on there.
Did you find it, Rob?
Be in the loft, I think. I can't find it.
Don't worry, we know you've got it.
Yeah. But no, I've kept everything like that. Logbooks. I've even got my first, the little blue paper one, and then we went to the hardback stuff. The coolest thing I remember about starting to jump with the logbooks was learning that I think you could qualify as Cat 8 to jump on your own in 30 jumps. I think that was the minimum if you did every jump perfect.
Yeah.
And me and don't tell me. Justine Kavanagh. Remember? Girl's daughter. Me and Justine both tied on 30 jumps. We both qualified at the end of our time. I think it took me over 18 months to get those 30 jumps in, with the UK weather being what it is, wet and windy for most of the part. So yeah, that's what I remember with that. So that was cool.
Oh, good.
We spent weekend after weekend, and we just sit in the canteen looking at the sky, waiting for the wind to drop.
You mean getting pissed in the Manor pub? That's what you mean?
Well, there's that as well.
Getting drunk in the Manor pub. That's what you mean?
Don't mention the caravan club to Terry.
Oh God, no.
It was a massive part of your lifestyle, wasn't it? Because I mean, even before I was seeing Joe, I would go up on sometimes a Friday evening and doss down somewhere. Yeah. And I would be there, and if the weather was good, I would be there till Sunday night. That was every week. And when I started seeing Joe, I'd go up on a Friday night, and sometimes I wouldn't leave Lancaster until the Monday morning. I'd go all the way from Lancaster to Stockport, straight to work.
Wow.
That was every week. Every week.
Sunday night, you could drive home on that, I suppose, wasn't it?
Me and obviously, you know that myself and Helen, we met on the skydiving centre at separate things. I was already jumping. I've been jumping about a year. Helen was just doing. She'd done one jump, maybe 2 jumps, and it was a what do you call it?
I've got some footage of you on here.
Yeah, Quasi had organised some kind of like.
You and Helen. I've got you and Helen on a video.
Yeah, I've just seen the one you sent the link to, which is brilliant. Thank you.
You've seen all these. You've probably seen all these.
Down at the parachute centre, and we'd say, "Oh, are you coming Saturday?" "Oh, yeah, I'll be here Saturday." "Oh, right, well, and we'll stay over then, and we can be together for Sunday as well." "Yeah, okay then." And then it was like, "What about if you come Friday night?" "Yeah, we'll come Friday night then." So we started to go Friday night, camping over literally in the hangar, sleeping in the mock-up. Yeah. Then it was like Friday night, Saturday night. you know, Sunday, what about if we stay over Sunday and extend it and then go home early, go to work early Monday morning? You're stretching out this whole thing. I just didn't want the weekend to stop. It was amazing.
I know.
Oh my God, that picture, that video of Blanche, what the hell was he doing there?
Well, he was supposed to do an unstable exit, and that's what he did.
don't
There's Bob. There's
Oh my
Bob.
God.
The schoolboy there.
And there's
Oh my
Helen.
God.
There she is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weren't we all young then?
Oh my God, yes.
Don't. I've had this whole thing really bugging me this last, well, mainly just this year since Christmas, of that I've got a lot of things just happening that are 30 years ago, and I'm going, stop it with the 30-year memories. And I'm like, I wasn't even a kid. It'll be like 25 then, 26. I'm going, I haven't now got 30-year-old memories.
I was in my 20s. How old were you, Anne, when you started?
Yeah, I think it was around 23, something like that, 22, 23. It was in 1985.
Right, yeah. So you were a good couple of years ahead of us.
Yeah.
When did you start, Terry?
I did my first one in '82, December '82. So I was 20 in the October.
Wow.
So I did 2 jumps at Tilstock in '82, and then I had a layoff then for about 9 months, and then I ended up. I think I went up to Cark, and then I found out about the Black Nights, and then that was it. Then I was there.
It's
I
a
was
bit.
there for.
It was a bit nearer, wasn't it?
Well, I was at Black Nights until I got up to my first 10-second delay, and I was supposed to be getting married to a girl in Stockport, so it all come to a stop. And 8 weeks before the wedding, we decided not to get married.
Wow.
And we had a house and everything, you know. Wow. So, and I thought, I mean, it's mutual, you know. And I thought, well, this is it. I can do what I've always wanted to do, and that was the plan. I went back. I went jumping, and even on the day I was supposed to be getting married, it was 2:30. I was in Papa Charlie, knelt down on the way to altitude. I remember looking at my watch, 2:30, and I thought, I'm in the right place, you know. And I just carried on, and we ended up selling the house. And with my share of the sale of the house, I bought my first kit from Lost is Lost. And I went up, bought this Xerox with a red Fury main. As it happened, they had a red round reserve on the shelf, and there's a red patch on the Xerox, so it all matched. I put it on the seat next to me and drove all the way back from Bridlington with my baby next to me. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Guys, I need the loo. I'm at that age. I'll be back in a minute.
What's it like?
Yeah, it's Graham said to me about writing a few things down. We'll go through a few things in a minute. But to me, one of the things is like the psychology of it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, is it? Well, that time we were there, it was just perfect, wasn't it?
Say hello to my husband, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
He thought I was crazy for jumping, and he said I came to my senses when I stopped jumping and sold all my gear.
Right.
Brilliant.
Well, I mean, like I say, it's not for everybody, is it? But
no.
For people.
What you said there, Terry, about the psychology of it. I found that we're traveling around a bit. There was a lot of tradesmen involved in skydiving, and I didn't know if it was there was a thing with the tradesmen where self-employed. So as soon as the blue sky came, we were off. We were in jumping because we could. But it was I think the lackadaisical approach to it. The people that are a bit more educated, higher up the ladder on working and stuff, they seem to be a bit more anxious about everything because they were worried. They knew too much. I kind of didn't know a lot, so the less I knew, the easier it was, and I just like watch, listen, and learn. You know, we had Lloydie saying, "Right, I want you to just fall a bit flat, get your arms back, heads up, you know, have a look, you know, a bit of a feel for it. Job's a good one, and off you went, and you just did it. And you. I look in the logbook, and it was like, yeah, clear to go. Next one. Everything was all ticking boxes and going. I've never been that good at anything. There was all those boxes that were ticked all spot on. I just haven't. So if there's anything you can become natural at, I think, yeah, skydiving is something you can do.
So on the psychology of it, what made you decide to start doing it?
Oh, that's even better still. We were all motorcyclists. We were bikers from the age of 16. As soon as we were 16, we got a provisional license. We got a moped. Bosh, we were off. And then as soon as we could, at 17, we all had our motorbike license. We're living in Garstang, you know, around the Cockham area. So we were little racers. And as that grew and we got older, 17, 18, 19, 20, one of the lads that I grew up with just said, oh, look, give us 50 quid for this summer's adventure. And we're going to go and ride our bikes round Donington Racetrack. And they're doing these track days. So we did that one year. And we always had the one organiser. Give us your 50 quid and we'll go and do it. So next year after that, it was Brands Hatch. And the year after that, it was Silverstone. And after doing 3 years of track days, it was kind of like, you know, all right, we've kind of done that now. What else is there? And he goes, oh, give us your 50 quid. And they were like, what was the travelling involved as well? It was like, oh, we're going to London to Brands Hatch. It's miles away, isn't it? So he goes, oh, gives you 50 quid. And we're all thinking, right, yeah, I need another 50 quid for the fuel to get where we're going. And he said, he said, it's only at Cockham. I said, oh, I didn't know there was a racetrack down there. He said, there isn't. He said, we're going jumping out of aeroplanes. And I said, we're doing what? And it was just this our mate just said, no, he said, we're not doing the track days anymore. He said, we're going to go do parachuting. And I kind of went, seriously? He said, yeah. He said, I booked it on the course. We're just going to turn up. We do it. So we do the course on a Saturday and you get to jump later on in the day, weather permitting. So the best thing that I remember was being really intrigued and drawn in was, and I hope you might have remembered it, was the poster on the wall of a guy in freefall with a red crash helmet on, thumbs up, and it just said, this could be you in freefall on your 7th jump. And that was my whole goal, was to do a free fall on my 7th jump. We got lucky on the weather. I think we did 2 jumps on the first weekend. And then I said, so can I come back? And I think it was Illich just went, of course you can fucking come back. Yeah, we want you to come back spending your money, you know. We didn't realise. So I went back the second weekend. And I said to the lads, are you coming? And they went, no, we've done it. I went, oh, right. So I just went back. I did 2 more jumps, ticking them off, moving forward. The next weekend, I did 2 more. And I think it was Lloydie cleared me for free fall on my 7th jump. And on my 7th jump, I did my first free fall. It was just like, I went hook, line and sinker straight in. Yeah. So it wasn't me. It was one of the lads just said, this is what we're doing.
Did the other lad go with you? Did the other lad do a jump as well?
Yeah, we all did it. No one bottled. There was 5 of us, and we're still together now. We've all grown up together. So we're all school kids.
But were you the only one that continued jumping?
Yeah. They all just went. Yeah, it was good fun, but it's not for us.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is anyone having problems with the screen flickering or anything?
No, I can see flickering on reflection on you, Anne, but no, we can see you okay.
I'm wondering when I leave and then come back again. Can I do that? Do you think that will stop it?
I don't know. You can try.
Okay, leave.
Yeah, you'd have to go back and click on the link again, though. You have to scroll.
Okay, hold on.
No,
hold on. It's okay now.
Okay. No, she's gone. Okay, she'll be back.
What about you, Graham? How did you get started on it?
My mate saw one of those stickers in the back windscreen of a car. Do you remember the ones they used to hang? And he said, oh, I've just got this phone number because they didn't have internet in those days. He goes, come on, let's go and do a jump. Let's go and do a jump. And I went, oh, yeah, okay. Sounds good. So we came up, we did the course, and we both did the course together, but it was too windy to do the jump the next day. And it was Graham Kirkman and you were the instructor as well. And I came back the following weekend, I think, did the jump. Thought, great, yeah, that's great. And my mate never came back. He only did the one static line jump and fucked off. That was it. He left me to it. And I kept on jumping. I thought, this is all right. I like this. But the one thing that I always remember about Cochrane, and looking at that aeroplane now, I can still smell the cow dung.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a very distinctive smell. Every time I smell cow shit, I think of Cochrane, because the airfield in those, I think it's changed a lot now. I've looked at it on Google Earth. Trought's gone and everything, but in those days it was a cow field, wasn't it? And they had to shoo the cows off the field into the next field, and then they used the runway with the aeroplane.
Yeah, Graham, you've missed a trick. Not a trick. You missed a treat. I don't know. Just after Christmas time, myself, Terry, and a few other guys, we all got together, and we went back and had a little old boys meetup in the pub, and then down at Cochrane, and it was mind blowing. Never mind getting the cows out of the field. They've got a tarmac runway. They've got what's the plane, Terry? There's turboprop caravan. It's got like 10 place caravan. It's like fucking hell. It's absolutely on point. And the hangar, you wouldn't recognize it, mate. You'd be in your dream. It's absolutely kitted out. They've got a video editing suite. There's a room full of computers, televisions, all the cameramen going there. They're downloading stuff, editing it all. It's so slick, and I don't think it took them, that new guy, long to just turn it around into what it should have been.
Yeah.
I personally think that the Black Knights were a bit short-sighted in the future of what they could have done, and they were just taking everything out and not reinvesting anything. It was kind of left up to us, wasn't it, to make
we didn't make suggestions at the time, but Bob Parry was like, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think
there's just a lot of people, they got to a certain level and then they moved on to somewhere else. That's why I started jumping at Cork, because we often couldn't get the altitude at Cochrane.
Yeah. It was very orientated towards students, wasn't it? Because it would cost us in the day, it was about a tenner, wasn't it, for 10,000 feet?
Yeah.
But they could get more money out of students, taking them up to 2,000 feet and then coming back down and going up again, coming down. So they put the priority on the students. And when the wind was low enough for the round parachutes, then we finished up just sitting there drinking tea.
Yeah, I think the thing is now it's the same issue. It's financially, it's tandems, because I think the caravan takes 16. So you're talking at the most, without cameramen, you're talking 8 tandems there.
You're looking at a lot of money though for a caravan or a porter.
So,
I bet the price change out of $1 million.
So
I don't know what the price of a new one is. I don't know offhand, but they're not cheap.
So the money they're going to get off a lift of tandems, as opposed to just free fallers, there's no comparison.
No.
So in that respect, and the popularity of tandems now, the way it's gone, the whole scene's changed. It's all commercial.
Like Terry said, that was the shock for us when we were there talking to the instructors and the owners and stuff, is that there was no real core skydivers there. There was no teams or anything. They were just all nobody like we would meet up with a mate's gun, do some rally work. They just don't do it. They're all tandem instructors, because it's gone commercial with that whole hint of sponsorship through tandems. Get your mates charity cancer or the hospital, you get a free jump, jobs are good. And they're kind of like making money hand over fist just on that. So the baseline skydiving thing has just kind of disappeared.
Yeah. We were very much restricted, but in that plane we got there, that's Papa Charlie, for the benefit of it was 5 people. That was it. 5 people. And it took about 20 minutes to get to 10,000 feet, didn't it?
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the restriction. Whereas you go to Cork and all of a sudden you've got an islander, and that was it 9 or 10 people?
9.
And
then, when we went to Morcel in Belgium, I mean, the stretch Hercules, that was 182 of us in the back of the plane in one go. I've never, ever seen so many parachutes in the sky in one time.
Do you know what I'll never forget? when we used to organise the Cochrane load for Belgium, and we'd have people putting their hands up for the door, and you'd have 30 people behind them, and they'd all be going, ready! And you'd hear it all echoing round the DZ. Go, and 30 of us would all start walking over the grass to build this formation.
Everyone, Cochrane could just run out the back of the Hercules in one go.
Yeah.
I found I was going through some discs either last week or the week before, and I found a disc that Mark Massey gave me. Right. It's got us all in the Herc, and the time it was, I think it was 88, and it was when I'd organised the Cochrane load. Well, what had happened was, on the way over on the ferry, somebody come telling me, right, Jeff says he's not doing the Cochrane load. I'm like, why not? Oh, because he said it won't work and all this, you know, and he said it'll be a waste of money. And no, forget the fun factor, you know. He said he's not doing it. I went, well, he's got to do it. We've rehearsed it. We've been rehearsing it for weeks. This has been going on for weeks. We've been planning this. Well, he said he's not doing it. Fucking hell! He said he's not doing it. Well, and I just went mental. I think it was Phil Cavanagh come behind me, and he just went plonk and put a dummy on a ribbon round my neck. Right, first one to spit the dummy. Right. So on this video, the rules were anybody who got given a dummy, right, they had to wear the dummy all through the boogie. Now that was whether you were on the drop zone, just walking around the tents, whether you're on a lift or whether you're in the bar at night.
You need to explain to people who are watching what that was all about.
There's a picture or a video clip of Terry we're on the run-in, the back door's open on the Herc, and we're all there waiting to go. And there's Terry proud as punch with his fucking dummy, and there's a lot of staggers going, who the fuck's this dickhead here with a big stuffy dummy stuck to his jumpsuit?
Well, this is probably the same. No, you have to have it in your mouth.
And you all spitting out at the same time. Do you remember that? That's just you don't spit the dummies out at the same time.
Well, the rules were that we had to have the dummy in your mouth when you were jumping. So the picture of us getting ready, we're all stood up at the back of the Herc, ready to go, and I've got a dummy in my mouth. Right?
Yeah, I remember. So I remember people in the back of the Herc with a dummy in the mouth. Yeah.
And we're all shuffling to tailgate, and it shows a lot of us just tumble off the back. But with the rules, right? If you're in the bar at night, and this is Tony, coming up with these rules, Tony Massey. He had a whistle. And every time, if he ever blew the whistle, anybody who's got a dummy had to put it in the mouth and stand up.
He was one of the characters, Tony Massey, wasn't he?
Tony, yeah.
We suffered. Anybody who got awarded that dummy suffered. So yeah, anybody who spit the dummy got awarded a dummy and had to wear it all through the boogie. And at any time when the whistle went, it had to go in your mouth and you had to stand up to attention. I can't remember if we had to sing a song or we had to do something. I can't remember what it was.
Blowing the dummies out at the same time.
Yeah, I remember doing that. I had a dummy once says, I'll spit your dummies out. 3, 2, 1. No.
Yeah.
Through the teddy in the corner. Things
Good times.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So Anne, how did you get into it?
I wanted to jump from being a kid. I remember seeing him on TV and thinking, oh my God, I would love to do that. And and my mother wasn't very happy, but my father was all behind me. He took me up in there and taking photos. And wow, I just thought it was going to do a static line jump. And then I heard people go on about free fall. I thought I'll give it a try. And once I actually did a free fall, like a first 5-second delay, I might as well have taken crack cocaine. I was just hooked, you know. So.
And what was it on TV can you remember what it was that you watched that inspired you?
Sorry, what was that, Terry?
Can you remember what programs you watched that inspired you with the skydiving?
No, because I was a kid and I just saw them on TV very briefly a few times. I don't remember which programs it was. I spent my childhood here, and I just remember watching. It was different here, you know, like you had back when in the UK, you only had like 3 channels. Here we had lots of channels, and I just remember flicking around the channels and seeing, oh my God, that's amazing, you know. And of course, people think you're crazy, and now we don't skydive anymore. I think I'd been on Facebook for a few years, and I've got a scanner and scanned all these photos, and some people were like amazed, like, oh my God, what on earth made you do that? You know.
Yeah. How many jumps did you do in total?
Just over 500.
Right, same as me. I did about the same, 550, something like that. What about you, Bob?
I got to about 450, something like that, and I basically stopped logging them. We ended up doing a lot of the what do you call it? The team exit display stuff, starting to do the display jumps.
Yeah.
And then we did a few competitions, and it got a bit of a thing where, a bit of a click where we got a little bit more blasé. We're going, yeah, I've just done 10 jumps on the weekend. You don't need to log them because we know we've done them. I wish I had have logged them all, but I put a genuine claim in it around about 500 over 12 years.
Yeah, but that, I was.
How about you, Terry? How many did you do?
We're going to come to Terry last because he's the man, isn't he?
Well, I only did 700, really, you know. And when we met up in December at Cochrane, most people had done quite a lot more than me, you know. But well, I think I had more airtime because I was opening my parachute higher on a lot of them.
For sure. Well, the highlight of the weekend was you and Joe doing your downplane, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No one ever got bored with that one.
Well, what I'll do, this disc I've got, I'll take some videos on my phone. I'll send them to you, Graham, and then next time we do this chat, you can include a few of the bits on the chat. I'll take some clips of in the Herc with the dummies and the exit.
I haven't got anything from the Hercules.
Right. And also the downplane. But there's some little shots around the drop zone as well with people just like larking about and.
Yeah. I went off to Doncaster once. They had a porter that came in from Coleraine, and I was doing the camera work for them all. They had this 4-way competitions. And Trevor Dobson, do you know Trevor Dobson?
Yeah.
He said to me, how many jumps have you done? And I can't remember at the time. I'd probably done, say 300. I can't remember. And I said 300. He goes, 300. I've done that many this year. I mean, people, a lot of these serious ardent skydivers, they've got thousands and thousands of jumps under the belt.
Yeah.
You think,
I know, but it depends what they've done on them. I mean, the most I did in a day was 7, and that was because I was teaching and dispatching. So sometimes you'd do follow outs at the end of doing so many lifts. I did 7 in a day, and when you're doing follow outs and that, they're just stop and pops. They're just they're building your numbers up, but you know, depending on what you're doing.
Oh, the Herc.
The Herc.
Nice. Yeah.
Extra long.
That's a Canadian Herc, isn't it?
Southern Air
Canadian Herc? I didn't know there was such a thing.
Well, Southern Air Transport, wasn't it? I think it was American.
Yeah, I think it was American because it had an N red. Yeah. Canada's the same as the UK, but the first letter's C. And then 4 letters, whereas Americans have the N at the beginning and the numbers.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
So plane spotter, you see.
That's the one. I don't know if,
look at that.
So that's the exit view over Morecambe Bay from Cochrane. So that's Lancashire in the UK with Morecambe Bay, the Irish Sea, isn't it? I suppose.
That's a nice shot. That's a nice shot.
Yeah.
All my stuff looks really crap now compared to like what Bob was saying before. Everyone's got HD now and 4K and stuff. And you look at the stuff that people produce now and you think, wow, that is super cool. And in our day, we thought what we had was great, but it was just a crappy little camcorder, you know. And they were damned expensive in the day, weren't they?
I know Bob's on it, but are you, Graham, and you, Anne? Are you on Old School Skydiving on Facebook?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be, yeah. But I don't use Facebook very much. I think
Right.
I joined it, but I haven't been on it much.
You see,
Who's that?
Wow.
Oh, nice. You and
Me and
Joanne. Oh.
Yeah. Well, somebody made a comment on Old School Skydiving, and they were I said this to Bob. They were talking about the group is run by an American.
Okay.
We've got people from all over the world on it, and this particular bloke who commented on there was saying that he's realised through reading the comments and the postings that go on there that where the DZ he was at in America, that little pocket of world that he was in every weekend, that little pocket and that world were happening all over the world. Because at that time, you were cut off. You were cut off from the world. There's no technology. You went on the drop zone. There was a landline phone in the packing shed.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to be found, you couldn't be found. You went over that sea wall at Cochrane, and that was your world. That was your world. Because I remember on a bad weather weekend going into Lancaster, and we were going through the shopping area, and I remember looking around. It was just alien to me, and thinking, this is how people spend the weekends. Totally alien. No, it was like another life.
Yeah.
I just couldn't connect to it at all.
Yeah.
I think like
Gary, have you ever been? Sorry, Bob, go on.
I think like what we've got here is that what you get, and I don't really, and I've been in a couple of groups with the motorbikers. You know, you're there and you come and go. And the thing with the motorbikers, again, is very similar to what we've got within the skydiving world. Is that you start together, you mature, you grow up, you learn new skills, and then on that journey, you will always lose some friends as well through either doing what the objectives that you're doing, or just through illness in life.
You're
mates forever, aren't you? And you don't have to see that person for 1 decade, 2 decades, but you still got the love and the friendship. And with skydiving, there's definitely that bond of and it's an unbreakable bond when you actually, you know, like you might be rushing to go to the toilet, or you want to see somebody, or whatever, and you go, hey, Anne, just pack my parachute for me, mate. And you're going, yeah, go on, then. I'll get it ready for you in a few minutes, Bob. You mean like you just wouldn't trust anybody else, would you? Off the street, pack your parachute, but you have that bond of trust and friendship in skydiving. It stays forever. It just does.
It does. Which brings me on to my next question, Bob. Have you ever known? I mean, skydiving is essentially potentially dangerous. Have you ever known anyone who's been killed skydiving?
I can't remember his name now.
Eddie Davis.
Yeah, Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie used to jump at Cochrane.
Yeah. Do you remember when I spanked in? So I spanked in 2000, and that was the end of me skydiving.
Yeah, I remember you writing on Facebook. But what happened to Eddie? When did he go in, or what?
Well, it was he ended up going twice. I spanked in. Everybody kind of learnt the lesson. They went, look, guys, calm down on the hook turns, because we were all part of that, you know, inventing the new technology where we were getting into the zero porosity, fast canopies, small lightweight stuff, pushing the limits. I learnt the hard way, and then I had a 2-year recovery to get back walking again. I thought, I just can't risk going back to doing that in case I do it again. I was a bit more mature in the fact that I thought it probably will happen again. So I just stepped away, just kept an eye on what was going on. Then through the grapevine, I heard that Eddie spanked in, nuts and bolts in his leg, blah, blah, blah. And literally, as soon as he could get up and walk and put a rig on, he was back in the plane and he spanked in.
Oh, my God.
Did he hook turn then?
Was well, I wouldn't know particularly know the details. But
He
yeah.
was on the canopy, was he, or not? I don't know.
No,
That's
yeah.
not
Oh,
why, though,
exactly what you're talking about. I got a picture of him.
He apparently where the Ibblesnow.
I heard Spain. I heard Spain.
Was it Spain?
I don't know if
Eddie,
it's the Eddie I'm thinking of. I hope it's not. I know there might be a different Eddie, but it's horrible to think that someone has died skydiving.
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, but he was pushing them limits. He was here, there, and everywhere. He turned it into a job, I think, because he was doing so many jumps, like we talked about before. I might do 30, 40 jumps in a year. Eddie was like ramping it up so quick. And jumping here, there, and everywhere. Went to Ibblesnow, developed it over there, moving to Spain, getting 100 jumps in a weekend was kind of like nothing. They were getting it on. And then all part of the fast canopy lifestyle was everything. But the hard learning was, we used to call it total commitment because, as we kind of know, there's no brakes as such on a canopy. You commit to that hook turn and you're in. And if you time it wrong, and that's it.
Yeah, it was a thing. I remember the blue track was the canopy to have, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, they were great.
My first one was a unit. Billy Miller stitched me up with that. I think it was Billy Miller. And I thought it was great because it was square, but the canopy was all right, but the harness was awful. Anyway, I progressed onto the one Flinny had. Remember one Flinny spanked in on? That was a parachute.
Oh, that was a Fury, was it? Oh, no, not a Fury. He had a Fury before then.
A 9-cell, allegedly a fast 9-cell. But it come off Ian Chick originally, and he didn't like it. He got rid of it. Give it to Flinny. Flinny spanked in, did his back and his feet in on it, and he sold it to me. And it nearly had me a couple of times, and I thought, no, I'm going back to a Fury. So, I mean, Terry had a Fury. Did you ever move on to? Because Furies were great. They were a good all-round safe canopy.
Furies are brilliant for everything.
Yeah,
I just stuck with them.
Yeah, I mean, I was tempted to go down the blue track and the fast, but like you say, so many people spanked in. They just didn't, you get it wrong, and so easy to get it wrong, isn't it? It was so light on the pedals, weren't they? On the pedals,
yeah.
On the toggles.
We were there. We were there at the forefront of that. We were there when we saw that new Zero Prosty elliptical. They were like an aerofoil aeroplane wing in the design. They were this deep in the center. They were this deep on the wingtips. They were elliptical front to back, but they didn't come with any instructions. Nowadays, again, we were late at learning with skydiving in that we wanted to kind of self-taught. And the problem with being self-taught is that you only learn from mistakes. And if mistakes aren't made, and you're not really pushing the boundaries, push the boundaries, made mistakes. But those mistakes, for a lot of the time, were either life-changing or fatal. Nowadays, they've even got you go to any DZ now, and they've got fast canopy handling courses. It's like that. You're going to teach me how to use mechanics. I'll do it myself.
I honestly, I quite happy to stick with the Fury. Fury for me was as far as I needed. I even had a round reserve, but that was because I was skint. Couldn't afford a square. I probably would have had a square one if I could have afforded it. But they've got AADs and everything now, haven't they? And
did you ever?
You shoot, it'll pop itself, won't it? Now.
Yeah, Graham. This is one of the best stories I kind of learned from the old school Black Knights. Did you ever speak to Bob Parry about kit when they first got it?
Which kind of kit?
Parachutes. When they started right at the beginning.
I bought my own. I bought a big green T10.
Yeah, no. I mean, the actual Black Knights themselves, when they started back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I saw the album. He got his album out one night.
Right.
And it's like a scrapbook because Bob was in the Paras, wasn't he? He was in Korean War or something, and I think Cliff was as well, and Phil Cavanagh, weren't they? They were all like ex-Paras.
They were all ex-military, and when they were leaving, and they all said, "Right, we want to do this for fun." So they spoke to the sergeant and said, "We want a bit of kit." And he went, "Fuck off! What do you want some kit for?" I said, "Well, we're going to do it for fun." It was like, love jumping out of planes. So they all got a rig each. And
Nice.
when he said they got a rig each, it was just one canopy. And they just jumped for years with one parachute. They didn't have a reserve. And I said, "What do you mean? You jumped without a reserve?" He said, "Bob," he said, "we could only just afford one. Why would we have two when you didn't need them?" And I went, "Oh my God," because they were just more money. And then the best thing he says about having the reserve was that they packed him. And it was like, he said, back then, he said, there was no, again, because these guys were inventing sport parachuting back in the day.
Yeah.
And they had the chest mounted reserve on the belly pack. And he had a line over and twist, did Bob Parry. So he went, "Not a problem." Pulled his reserve. Literally, he said, like a loaf of Hovis bread. It fell out of the container, hit his feet, and nearly broke his toes.
Oh my God.
He went, "Oh." So he reeled it all back in and literally punched it in the air till it all and then he threw it away, and then he inflated and literally had a couple hundred feet under this reserve, and he landed.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
was the start of parachute reserve packing twice a year. You know, we're thinking about.
Oh, wow. I remember he told us a tale once. It was funny. He said there was this rig that Cliff was doing hop and pops and cutaways on, and Bob Parry just took it. He took it to terminal. He said he got the shock of his life when he opened up. He was howling in pain. This wasn't meant to be taken to terminal velocity. It was just meant for hop and pop, you know. And the way he went on, I was in stitches.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they put the sliders on the square parachutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just delete
everything. Too fast, and it went bang, and he just left swinging in the harness like seeing stars. So they had to slow it down somehow. That's why they fitted them. Remember Mark Massey telling me when he was base jumping, they always packed it with the slider down.
Yeah. So talking of old kit, Lloydie had the Para Delta Wing 2. So I mean, back in the day we had the Aeroconical, the T10 for the bigger lads with the double L's. Just
I remember you jumping that. You said you wanted to jump that.
Yeah, well, so they went from the double L. Then they just decided that if they cut loads of holes in a round, it could go faster forward. So then like the Para Commander, and then the forefront of switching between a round parachute to skipping forward to a square was the Para Delta Wing 2, which was more like the design of an old school hang glider. It was a triangle.
Yeah.
So did you ever
only jumped it the once though, didn't you?
Oh well, it had about a mile of line. The lines, it was so far above your head, it was miles away. And he just said, "Do not take this beyond a 3-second delay because it will snap you in half." I went, "Oh my God." So we jumped out and I literally just dumped it as soon as I could, and it opened and it was great. But if you let it go onto full drive, the nose just collapsed. I thought, no. So I just flew it all the way in on half brakes. The only problem there was I didn't have anything to stall it with when I came into land, so I just proper ploughed into the ground with Lloydie pissing his sides.
I remember you jumping that. I do. I remember you just shook your head and said "never again" or something. I can't remember.
Oh no! But it was
a long time ago. Did you ever do a Mr. Bill?
I think with Quasi. Well, I don't know how that works, but I was the guy with the canopy, and he jumped off me. So
right. You managed to do it though.
Oh, are you talking about a Mr. Bill?
Yeah, I tried it several times, and I only successfully managed it once, and that was with Tony Massey.
Tony Massey.
He was the. We had to static line him pretty much off the plane.
Yeah.
Someone had rogue as he went off, and even then it was touch and go whether we made it, but we just about managed to hang on.
Yeah, well, I did a successful one with Helen Prowse up at Cork. I was hanging on. And what happened, I was flying around. She wanted to hold me by my ankles, you know, face down and just do a swallow dive. And we didn't do it. I got fed up of hanging on. But what happened was I pulled a reserve handle out. I said, shit, Helen, I pulled the reserve handle out. But, you know, I was flying around and then we got to about 3,000 feet and I fell off. And someone came up to me after. There was loads of spectators there. They thought I'd fell out my canopy or something, you know. They're all shocked. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
That thing to do. I mean, the first few tries we did it, we just got torn apart like a steam train because we'd gone off and then dumped, and that was too late. Picked up far too much inertia, you know, no chance. What about you, Terry? Have you ever managed to do one of them?
Never did a Mr. Bill. No, never. Did a few. I did a few other things. I flew a few about 5 wheels out the door. Have you ever done them?
Oh, I tried that. It sounds fun, but but ours fell apart. Yeah.
Yeah. With the Islander, if you lay on your back with your legs out the door and lift them up, and then somebody stands across your pelvis and holds your ankles, and then somebody stands behind them and holds their ankles, and somebody stands behind them and holds their ankles, and you'll lay on your back and you hold the rear ankles of the person who stood up over you.
How many people were in the wheel?
But on that one, there would have been 5.
Wow.
But,
So you managed it with 5.
I've done it with 4. I've done it with 5. And you do the same call, the ready, set, go. So it's ready, set, and you just all roll out the door, and it opens up, and it's the only time in free fall when I ever got that feeling, because the wheel, it just rotates over and over, and every time you go over the top, it's that feeling a bit like being on a roller coaster. I never got it in anything else in free fall. Every time you went over the top, it was like, whoa. Yeah. So like you fly out about 10,000 feet and then just keep rotating that wheel, and that just keep going then, just rotating all the way until somebody dropped a grip. And that was it, then it just come apart. So there was that, and the other one, which was good, was Horny Gorillas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Horny Gorilla.
Horny Gorillas.
Oh, that was great. That was awesome. I screamed. I just got so excited. I screamed the place down.
I've heard of it, but I've never done it. Explain to me what it is.
I remember flying a 5-way off Papa Charlie. So what you do, you fly a 5-way off and level it out, so you've got a 5-way star, just like a ring of you in a formation, all looking at each other. And then you just fly that for a few seconds, 5 seconds, whatever, 10 seconds, and just fly it nice and steady, all geeking at each other. And somebody gives the nod, and what you do, you all lift your knees up, put your feet into the middle of the star, lock your feet together, and then what you do, you drop your grips and put your arms out. And a horny gorilla, you're supposed to like beat your chest, right? But you just fly it on your back, so you're all linked by your legs on your back, but it picks up speed as well. And I remember being on one, I can't remember who else was on it. There's 5 of us, and Mike Riley was on it, and we were flying this horny gorilla, and it picked up speed, and it was it was plummeting. We're all still looking at each other laughing, and somebody lost a leg grip. Bing! They went flying off. The 4 of us still flying it. We're all balancing it. Somebody else went off, and then somebody else. That was it. Gone. Oh, they were brilliant. Brilliant horny gorillas.
Yeah.
They were funny. Some of the things we got up to.
Oh my God.
How did we actually survive?
I don't know, but we didn't do crazy. We did some silly things, but we didn't do anything. I mean, I've seen, if you go on the internet now and Google skydiving, people have jumped out without the parachute.
That's stupid.
And just a strap and with a hook on it, you know, and the other guys come in and connected the hook, and you think
that's crazy.
That's just Lewis. And another one just threw his kit out first and dived out after it.
Oh, it's
you
madness,
think, that is just pure stupidity. I'd never even consider doing that, you know?
No.
You know when you said earlier, Bob, about pushing the limits, I mean, when you're on the ground, you can have a bit of common sense about pushing the limits and all that. But when you're up there and you're doing what you're doing, the adrenaline just takes over. You do push the limit. You do. You think they're invincible?
Yeah, you get that, don't you? And then for us, pushing the limit, kind of like there's always that buzz about you're not allowed to do that because that's illegal. All right, yeah, thank you for letting me know. I'll have a go at that then, shall I? As soon as you know you can't do it, then you want to do it, don't you? And the only thing that came about that was manageable with the risk was base jumping. And even for me, it still wasn't a manageable enough risk because even our bridge, the only one I would do would have been a bridge jump because then you're pretty much in fresh air straight away. And in the UK, for me, they were never tall enough. I'd still want a bridge with 1,000 foot. So with that, I'll have to tell them our story about our beloved friend, Mark Massey. God bless him. Mark was one for pushing those limits. And his whole story was amazing. He goes, Bob, you know Leighton Flats in Blackpool? I goes, yeah. He said, how tall are they? I said, I don't know. He said, well, what did you find out? So I drive to Blackpool and I'm counting how many stories there were. And there were like 22 stories. And I go, well, it's 8 foot, 2.4 meters per floor. I said, So I says, Mark, I said, you've probably got about 300 foot tops. Right. Okay, then. How am I going to get in? I went, what are you asking me for? I said, I'm not doing it. So he comes up with this cunning plan that Mark and his wife, Lily, were going to be undercover newspaper reporters building a story about living life in a high-rise block of flats. I thought, okay, I could buy into that. That sounds good. So he said, I'm going to go in with my rig on, already done, underneath his coat. Lily's going in with the clipboard. She's going to be the reporter while he does the stuff. So this is the whole setup. So they literally went to Leighton Flats, pressing random doorbell numbers till somebody let them in randomly. And then they just went in the lift all the way to the top floor, knocked on a door till someone let them in. This guy lets him in. And they said, we just want to have a little talk to you about living on a top floor of a flat. Will you talk to us? And the guy said, yeah, I will. So let him in. Literally, Lily's on the case, asking him loads of questions. Mark's doing the scouting around, finds a window, and within about a minute, Bob,
oh my God,
he's out the window and he's done his jump. What happened? He had this as a story. Again, no camera footage to prove it or anything like that. It was all underground. It was just my story. You either believe it or you don't.
I never heard that story, but I absolutely know Mark Massey, so I don't.
It gets better. It gets better, Graham. So my mate lives around the corner from there. That's why I knew where they were. These the flats at Leighton. He said, "Hey, have you heard about the petrol pump attendant lady on the garage forecourt?" So there was a petrol station right on the junction of where the flats were. He says, "No." He said, "Nearly had a heart attack at the weekend." He said, "She was just like, sweeping up. Next thing you know, she has a big, massive explosion. She looks around, looks up, and there's a guy falling out of the sky, and someone had jumped out of the flats." I said, "You're kidding." And so she actually witnessed the whole thing. So you just knew it was true anyway, because it was Mark. And as much as he loved to tell the story in a bit of a yarn and spread it out, it was wonderful to be clarified that he did do it. It was
wow.
Like, oh, wow.
He did. Well, he did the Anglican Cathedral in Liverpool, and I went and took pictures of it, so I know for a fact what he's like.
Yeah,
he's the only person I know that's ever done it.
I've seen the video of that.
Yeah, that will be on a disc. He had.
Wow.
He had someone. We videoed it and we photographed it as well. And it was.
The other one was.
I think Flinny buddied him off.
Yeah, who remembers going to Blackpool Tower before it was enclosed in as a kid?
Yeah.
So you could go to Blackpool Tower, go up to the top, and you could literally, if you wanted to, you could climb out and jump off. So that's how the tower was built, and that's how it was. But the story goes there was that was Steve Alker, I think it was Flinny, I don't know if there's another 2 of them or 3 of them, and they based off the tower, but they got caught because they landed on the promenade.
Oh.
I heard they landed on the beach on the other side.
Yeah,
And they got off in Alton's van, but Alton's van had all his fucking phone number and everything and his company name on the side. Someone just clocked it.
Yeah. But it was when they got caught, that was the whole thing that they went, right, we'll have to change how the tower's built, and they enclosed it all in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I heard Flinny jumped off, I think this was in 87, he jumped off that tower in Liverpool, and he said a reporter stopped him, and he said, oh yeah, I told him my name was Dennis and I'm a plaster from Birkenhead, trying to say it was Dennis Buchanan, trying to blame him.
Yeah, that was St John's Beacon. Yeah, he told me he did that. I didn't see him do that, but yeah, he used to do Clifton Suspension Bridge a lot as well.
Mm.
Wow. I know Mark was talking about coming over here at one point. He phoned me up a couple of times and talking about coming over. And I hope to God, I'd have to keep a sharp eye because I live like on the 13th floor. I hope he doesn't want to jump off our balcony,
He's a bit old for it now, isn't he? I mean, he was 10 years older than me, and I'm 61, so he must be 70 by now.
Who? No, not Tony. Mark.
Flinny.
Oh, Flinny. Yeah, Flinny. Yeah.
No, Mark.
Has anyone seen Flinny at all?
No.
Did we have we got? We've got
what?
No, we've got a picture of him, Terry, of all the lads that turned up. Let me find it.
What, in December?
Yeah.
They're all on my phone. I'm on my phone now. Everything's on my phone. So.
Yeah. I've got loads of stuff on. I've got a few things here, but you've seen it all before, and it's on my channel anyway. So I've got, got a video of Danny Smith jumping out of Papa Charlie there. But,
Graham, just move to your left and show everybody Papa Charlie.
It's my left.
Yeah. There you go. So for those of you who don't know, that's Papa Charlie, our little 185 Cessna, in a muddy field that in the morning, all of us skydivers, and included Terry and Graham, come back, Graham, we would have to move cows, live cattle, out of that field to bring them into another field, lock all the gates so we could use it as a runway. And we said about how it's been developed. So this is what they've now got.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I bet it gets to 10,000 feet in about 10 minutes as well.
Yeah.
I know. I went there in 2018 and went home, and I stopped at Carcrum. I didn't see anyone I knew. It was just a load of strangers. The place had changed. And I went up to Cork, and there was still a few people there I knew.
Yeah, loads of people have died, haven't they, since the days, Just died of old age, I suppose, and whatever else. Oh, wow.
We sat down and had lunch with Jack Felstead. He's now 80, and he's still jumping. Yeah. And he took part in one of the Pops World Records, 140 people.
Jack Felstead on the end there in the blue. Oh, hang on. Yeah. My arm's disappeared. Anyway, the guy on the end in the blue next to me.
On the right hand side, yeah. Jack's packed in now.
Has he? Oh.
Yeah, he was at Langer, and he was in a collision in free fall. He got knocked out, and he was still unconscious when he landed under his reserve.
Jesus, just while he had a Cyprus.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's awful.
We didn't have them in the old days, did we?
We didn't. Hey, we wouldn't have been able to afford them if we did have them anyway.
There's a few things I don't understand about skydiving today. I mean, as good as it is, and progression and for everything that it is, I don't understand how we went to tight suits. I know they say about faster fall and there's more forgiveness on your arm and leg position because with baggy jumpsuits, they catch the air more, and the slightest movements, it'll throw you out. Full face helmets. What is that all about? Surely you want to feel the elements and the slipstream where the croup and you wear the Protex, But like in the days when we were students, we were jumping in boiler suits and open face helmets, big open face helmets with the peak taken off.
Yeah, Terry, you'll like this one.
But it was raw though, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the one main rule for us, wasn't it, was that we were not allowed to jump above cloud. Had to be able to see the DZ.
GPS now, you know exactly where you are now.
But when you got halfway up to altitude, if it clagged in, you kind of went, look, we know where we're going. We'll have it anyway. And there was me, Justine Kavanagh, and Quasi. We had a little three-way going. I think must have dispatched a couple of students. And we were lucky that we had Gordon on the sticks. So he flew us up. He said, I know where we're at. I'll time it in. You guys will be right. So we got out 10 grand above cloud. We went straight into this cloud almost immediately. And we're looking around each other going, this is hurting a bit. I don't know what's going on. It looks, it was like, Jesus, it's like being shot in the face with a BB gun.
Rain or hail.
Oh, hailstone.
I know.
We landed. We walked back to the canteen. Everyone is laughing like mad. They're going, you've been jumping above cloud. I'm going, no, we haven't. No, we haven't. They're going, yes, you have. Your face is covered in purple dots where you've been hit with hailstone. And it's, we've all got little pink, purple bruises on our faces from the hailstone.
Yeah,
so funny. Yeah, your full face helmet, Terry. You wouldn't get that.
I've never jumped a full face helmet, but I'd give it a go just to see if I like.
You might as well do it on virtual reality. If you're shutting yourself off from the elements with a full face helmet, and not feeling the touch stream with the tight suit, you might as well watch it on the screen.
Don't knock VR, Terry. Have you seen all those guys with the wingsuits going down the mountains?
Yeah.
I've been there with my Oculus thingy on there, watching that. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing to watch.
Oh, I bet it is, yeah.
360 GoPros now. And they'll put them
on
I know.
My God.
You can put the VR headset on and you can watch the 360 and wow, you're there and you're going, wow, and you're looking at and you're going down the hill through all the cracks and crevices. Wow, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Graham.
Just in VR. Go on.
Yeah. Graham, I follow a guy on, again, just through Facebook and social media with YouTube and stuff. And he's called Jeb Corliss. Jeb Corliss is one of the guys that pioneered the wingsuit flying. Right. Now, when you talk about pushing the limits, there's wingsuit flyers and then there's wingsuit flyers. And what Jeb Corliss specialized in and has perfected, and you'd love this, you'll have to check him out when we're finished, is called close proximity flying. He flies within meters of objects. Whether these are alpine mountains, valleys. His latest footage that he's just done, which has taken him about 5 years of planning, was he wanted to close proximity fly past the Great Pyramid, and he got permission to do it. Not only did he get permission, he flied him with a military helicopter to jump out of as well. You need to see, and it's only any good for the simple reason of the technology of what you just said then, the camera work, the 360. Yeah. He's got the camera in front of him. It's as if a camera crew was stood here taking pictures there. Yeah. And it's literally, you can see his shadow. He's about a meter and a half away. When you put the still pictures on to teasers or to begin with, and they are incredible. The detailing in the pyramid is phenomenal, never mind just him. But then about 2 weeks later, he released the actual fly past footage in slow-mo, 360, straightforward, up and down. Just incredible. But only it's worth because of the technology in the film. Stuff.
I mean, even so, Bob, I've got one of those 360 GoPros and the computer just takes so long to process the video. Could take hours and hours just to do 5 minutes of footage. You know?
Wow.
It must take them ages and have to get really high-spec computers to deal with it, you know, and even then, but I've seen two guys in wingsuits and they both got 360s and they're filming each other and they're going down the mountains together like this, and it's absolutely incredible. Well worth watching. But if you're watching it in a VR headset, it's unbelievable. I mean, your heart's going when you go in. And I'm still sat on the sofa, you know. I think, whoa, that is impressive. That is impressive. Never done it. Has anyone ever jumped a wingsuit?
No.
I don't think suit. Well, like Terry mentioned the suits. I was always the big guy. Even as slim as I might have looked, I was probably still 15 stone. Back in the day, like 15 stone with being just a big frame bloke anyway. By the time you got your rig on, I probably had a flying weight of like 18, 19 stone. So it was like, if I just jumped out in a normal tight suit, bosh, I was gone. And I could never slow myself down. So the only way that we had insight into technology, they went, oh, you need a polycotton baggy suit, and that'll help you.
We did. Do you remember we all used to get, some people wore weight belts to try and fall a bit faster.
I wore a weight belt.
Some people were too heavy. You've got big baggy suits to slow down, and before you're struggling just to get a 4-way or a 5-way together, you know, most of the time.
Yeah.
That was a difference when we learned about when we went down to watch the bigger teams, when myself and Helen would go down to Peterborough or Langer to watch some of the big 4-way British national teams. The teams, all the people were the same height, same weight.
Same weight, yeah.
All had the same rig.
Everything,
And because that's what I like about what we called it back in the day. Then it was, we were told it was called RW. It was relative work. Yeah. And when you're working relative to the person in front of you in free fall, and that whole difference between having your hand flat, cupping it, arching it, and how many of you still do this? Driving down the motorway, put the window down at 70 miles an hour, stick your hand out, and do that, and do this, and watch your hand go up. I still do it. I do it every day. It's brilliant. Every time. Yeah.
I'm doing this.
So, just winding it back a bit, to like early days. So, how did people like control the nerves and the fear of early jumping? Because you've got to find your way into it, haven't you? And find your footing. To me, it was like early days, like static line. You got comfortable with that. The fear was there at first, but static line, you're comfortable. Then you got into dummy poles, so there's something else to think about. So you control that. One of the hardest things was climbing out of that aeroplane for my first free fall, knowing I wasn't attached. That was just, I've got a fear of heights anyway. So to be climbing out on a little step outside the aeroplane at 3,000 feet, 2,800, whatever, and knowing that when I let go of that aeroplane, I'm dropping, I'm going. And then, so early free fall, you get your 3 second out of the way, and then going on to your 5 seconds, they were just a fumble, a frantic fumble, really. You sort of learn to slow it down.
The overload, isn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't until you got, because I remember another student in a boiler suit, and he just got onto, I'm not sure if it was his first 10 or his first 15, and he's talking about the build-up of speed, and he could feel his suit flapping in the slipstream as his free fall speed built up. And I'm listening to him and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to get to that. As frightened as I am, I can't wait to get to it. And you found that, didn't you? As you got onto longer delays, you could relax. You could relax and look around. What an amazing thing that was, to be free falling and relaxing and just being able to look around and control it. It was amazing. Well, them early days.
It's a massive step from static line to pulling it yourself. Because when you're in the plane, you're looking at that handle and you're thinking, well, I've got to pull that. And if I don't pull it, I'm going to die. And you're like touching it, aren't you, all the way up and letting go of it and touching it. And you're just there looking at it all the time.
Yeah. What if I don't find it? What if I don't get it?
Can't find it, yeah. Oh God. Well, I remember the very first time I jumped, the first static line jump, first jump ever. When it was my turn, I just remember staring at the controls in the plane. I was the second person out. I would not look out the door. I thought, because if I look out, I'm not going to go.
It's that feeling as well, early days, isn't it? With a step exit, when you're putting your foot out and your foot hits that slipstream, it's like, oh my God, it's reality, isn't it? And then reaching out for that strut.
Yeah, reach out for the strut, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then cross your legs over.
I've got some questions. This is Harriet. She's got some questions. I think Terry can answer the first one.
Well, I'd say most people do remember the first jump. That's the main one that people remember.
Yeah.
I remember my first two. That was out of the 182 at Tilstock. There's only 3 people in that, an instructor and 2 students, and I was the first one out.
Wow.
I even remember now climbing outside. That was a step exit. Climbing outside the door and standing on that step outside the door, and literally thinking, I've got to put my head into a state of like suicide, because I'm literally going to jump off this aeroplane. I'm going to jump at 2,500 feet into what I think is nothing. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was sorry.
No, carry on.
There wasn't the apprehension about anything with that for me. And I think it's because I need all my focus to do something, to listen and learn. Again, going back to like just being perhaps a simple man, with just being a joiner, and that was my one thing. And so I never over worried about anything else. You just listened. You did. If you just, and it's that same old thing even today now. Is it? If you just listen and do exactly what you're told to do, everything's a win-win, and it'll work perfect. Yeah. So if you just banged the big arch on, head up, counted 3, came in, got your pull, done. You'd have a canopy. That's all you need to know, and that's all I did. And with Harriet's question about the second one, it was just seeing that picture in the canteen. Was that, well, I've done one. Let's do another. Because the first one was that good.
No, Winston.
There is more detail to be drawn out of it on the second and third and fourth and fifth jump, because you are getting more aware. But definitely remember the first jump. Definitely.
Yeah. I found you had like sensory overload, and each time you jumped, you saw more and more each time. I remember Terry saying to me, "Did you see the plane when you jumped off?" And went, "No." Oh, we were all looking at you. We thought you could. No. And I didn't see the plane for about the first 3 or 4 jumps. And I said, "Oh, at that time." As you go up.
Yeah, same here.
Information coming in, and you think, "Wow."
I know.
Where's my handle?
Yeah, same in my first jump. I don't remember from actually leaving the step to my parachute opening. Just sensory overload. I don't know if I blacked out or what, but yeah.
Wow.
I think one of the things as well that I remember quite strongly from very early jumps, especially, was something that people don't experience now, and that's the silence under a round canopy.
Yeah.
It's all wraps now, isn't it, in square canopies? So you got quite a bit of forward speed when you're under canopy, and noise off the fabric of the canopy. But with a round canopy, you just literally hanging underneath it, very slow forward speed. So it was just silent, and the canopy would just like, as you look up at it, it wouldn't stay still. It'd be like billowing like that.
Yeah.
And you'd be like just looking around thinking, oh my God, this is just amazing. And that was the contrast from all the noise of the aircraft. Your head thinking, oh my God, I've got to get it right, and all the climbing out and the fear and everything. And all of a sudden, just silence. It was beautiful.
Silence. You've got Bob Parra going, left toggle, left toggle.
No.
Left toggle.
No, there were no radios then either. There were no radios.
Went through the
Did you not have
counter.
radios?
No, there was nothing.
Oh, I think it was at least 3 jumps on the radio before they took the radio off you. Or depending on how good you can learn your canopy skills.
No, we didn't have radios then.
Oh, right. No.
Do you remember the guy who went through the cowshed roof?
Yeah.
No. Who was that?
He was head switched on. He did all his static line course. He was drinking with us in the manor every weekend, and we thought he'd be one of the lads. He'd make it, he'd come on. And he said, "Oh, I want to do free fall. I really want to get onto free fall." And he did it all the static lines, all the dummy poles, everything. Come the big day when he did his first free fall, his head went completely. He went blank. He jumped off the plane, he got hold of the handle, pulled it, and he's there like that, swinging under the parachute. And his mind had just gone. He was just and you could even see the wire and the pin on the end just swinging about, and he had his hands out like this. Didn't even reach up for the toggles. And of course, what happened?
Graham, I was on the jump.
You were on the jump?
Yeah.
On the man break.
I watched him disappear.
He went straight through the cowshed roof, and I was the first one in there. And he still stood there like that. And he went right. Those things are called in the roof that hold the roof up, the wooden bits. Right, he'd gone right.
Rafters? Yeah, rafters.
No, the apex things. Anyway, he'd come straight through the roof, and he'd.
Oh my God!
He could have gone to the side of one of those beams, right? But he comes straight through between two of them, and he landed straight in one of the cubicles for the cows. Yeah. And there was about a foot of cow shit in there, and it's just like that. And he's looking around, and all his lines are going straight up to the. I thought, fucking hell, got in there. You all right? He's like, his just head had gone completely, and everyone was shouting, "Pull on your fucking tongue!" Nothing. He just thought that completely, and we never saw him again. He just put his kit away and went home. That was it.
Yeah.
Never saw him again.
No.
Wow.
That is proper sensory overload. I've never seen it like it. Obviously, he's so focused on getting the handle that once he'd got it, mission over. That was it. His head went. Completely. You were on that jump, Bob. You seen it all from above.
Yeah. Someone else was with us, and we put him out, and then we got out, and then I'm just on a little fly around, and I'm watching him, and I spotted him because I thought, oh, he's drifting off there. He needs to get back over here, because I thought, is that a bit of have we bum spotted him? I thought, we haven't bum spotted him. He's doing all right. It should be okay. And he didn't, like I said, he didn't make any corrections. The canopy never moved. And I watched it just drift over John's farm. And I thought, well, if he gets over the farm, he's going to be in the dike or in the car park somewhere like that. And then I had a quick look up to make sure I was okay. And then I looked down, I literally saw the canopy, and then it just like disappeared like a puff of smoke. And I thought, where's it gone? And then that was it. It gone straight through the shed. And I went, oh my God. Yeah.
First thing Tony Massey did was he gave Bob a bill, an estimate for the repairs to the roof. Straight on it. Oh, I had no problem, Bob. I'll fix that. Yeah.
The other funny thing was that me being the joiner, I always had a pair of ladders on the top of my van. The amount of times Bob Parry coming in, Hudson, can we borrow your ladders again? I'm going, why? He said, we've got somebody stuck in a tree down at the bottom field. When you go and get them, tried to go in my van round down Cochrane Road, put the ladders up.
Do you remember the number of dragged across the field through cows?
We'll get you down. We'll put the ladders up. God, yeah.
The number of patches there on those parachutes, from rips and tears on barbed wire fences and trees, and getting dragged through cow shit and not being able to collapse it. I mean, I never had a problem collapsing them. I always just pulled it in and down it went. But some people just never grasped that, did they? And they just got dragged all the way across the field.
One of the other best stories, which was hilarious, was that Helen, my wife, she was doing one of her first jumps with her friend, and she landed in the dike. So she managed to get herself out. She's come trudging all the way back, covered in like horrible green, slimy, stinky old dike water. The kit covered in it. And Harry just said, "Oh, just stand there, my dear." And she was probably thinking like, "Oh, he's going to get like the first aid medical kit, and he'll come and make sure I'm okay and everything. So just stand there, just don't move. And he just brought the hose pipe out, absolutely drenched her and hosed her down just to wash the kit off her. And then he went, right, thanks for that, off you go. And all he wanted was his kit cleaning without it touching the floor. It was like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, brutal down there.
So many. And then there was the trough.
Oh, the trough, yeah. I've got photos of myself going in and being thrown in there.
Terry, you can lead on this one, mate.
Well, yeah. Well, there's well, I think you've got pictures, haven't you, Graham, of the trough?
Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Well, is it the one with me or the one with Bernie Bamber? They're the two most common ones.
I've recently found one of you and one of Parker. Was he called? What was his first name? Was it Dave Parker? Was it the pink pig? John Parker, was it?
Oh, John Parker. Yeah.
I've got one of him going in. If I can get it. If I can find it.
Well, the thing was,
so yeah, they were nice and civilized with him. They let him take his clothes off and everything. More like escorted him.
No, we don't have that. We don't have that. No.
No, it was completely different to the one of you. Where they had your headlock and throwing you in. You know.
Well, that's the difference to like then and now. That old school and now. You'd never have anything like that, because if you pick somebody up, drag them down the field, and all threw them in, and then like we used to do, anybody who threw people in would get a hand between the legs, and they'd follow them in to trough. So you'd end up with 2 or 3 people in trough. But if you did that now, there'd be a £3,000 bill for 3 phones that got ruined or something.
Oh God, yeah.
So that would never happen now.
No,
it's just totally changed. But one thing that we did do as well, I took a course one weekend there, and the room was packed, about 30 people on the course. And I remember Jeff Elledge calling some of the lads. He took one of the lessons, and he was calling one particular lad Man Mountain, and they were like big lads, you know. And anyway, we took this course. I had a right laugh with them. It was like right, real good banter with them. And at the end of the day, we got. I just said to them all. I just said, look, we come to end at course. You know, you've all passed. And if you do one jump, right, and that's all you do, you can never change that. It will change your life just doing the one jump. And if that's all you want to do, that's fair enough. You're going to come back and do more jumps. You can do a few more jumps. You can start on the category system. You can work on to free fall. You can do whatever you want. But you're here. You've done the course. If all you do is one jump, great. Just enjoy it. Just do everything you've been told and enjoy it. Well, they started clapping, and it turned into a cheer, and they're stamping their feet, and it just went down really well. The following day, when they came back, was a hot Sunday. It was blistering. Well, with Tony Massey and a few of us, we got together and we concocted this story that there was a world record attempt for getting a certain, you know, like when you used to crush people into a telephone box, where you could crush people into the fuselage of a plane. So the mock-up that we used to practice on the drop zone outside the office, we said, that's a mock-up of, I'm not sure if it was a 185 or whatever, but for the Guinness Book of Records, we're going to make an attempt at how many people can get in it. So we got everybody round off the course. So everybody who wants to be involved, just step forward. Oh, all these big lads are there, aren't they? Yeah, I'm up for it. So we got them over to mock-up, right? They're literally pushing them in like a Japanese tube train. And they're squeezing them in. They were literally like sardines in this mock-up, right? And as soon as we got as many in as we could, we'd all be hiding around the corner with buckets of water. Run around the corner, loads of us, all at once. Whoosh, just drenched a lot. They could see us coming. They couldn't do anything.
I've got it.
Drenched a lot of them. And they picked us off one by one, all through the day. And trucked us, every one of us.
Out in time, they couldn't get out fast enough.
Yeah.
I remember that. Remember, we got Mark Blanchard with a fire bucket full of water. He came across the packing shed roof and he's there chatting some girl. And he just seen us at the last minute and he went to jump, to run, and we got him right in the back. And he finished up, it knocked him on the floor. And he's laid on the floor like that. And as he got up, you could see the outline of him like cartoon.
Like a cartoon.
Yeah, you can see the dry patch where he was like that. I'm going to the loo again, mate. Sorry. I'm like Godfrey. I've got to be excused.
Yeah, I have to be excused as well. Be back.
Oh, hell. This is old school, isn't it?
Yeah, old school, new school, all this technology. Yeah.
I'll never forget me and you, Bob, at Belgium, doing the holding on to the ankles and doing that cartwheel thing, just rolling on the concrete floor.
I was going to say, not even on the grass, on the concrete floor.
On the flags, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then do you remember when we made that chair pyramid, didn't we? Massive chair pyramid, and Quasi clapped to the top like some kind of like, folklore person to like be burned at the stake. And it was massive, 10 meters up in the air. Then the lot just collapsed, and I thought, how he never got stabbed to death with all them chairs landing on him? I never know.
I remember Phil. Phil wasn't faint-hearted, but he saw Quasi climbing up there, and he was concerned. He was concerned, and he was saying, Quasi, come down, Quasi. And he got to the top, he sat on that top chair, and he put his arms and legs out like...
Yeah. So, Moorcell, what was it, 90?
We did 88, 89, and 90. 90 was the last time we all went, I think.
Yeah, 1990, so...
91 I went, I'm sure.
I think I did 4 trips. I did 87, 88. I missed 89 because in Australia. So it must have been 90 and 91.
Yeah.
I went in 91 as well. Yeah. Did they ever hurt there in 91 as well?
Yeah.
There's a hurt there every year I went.
Wow.
The big kudos for those that don't know, we talk about large aircraft boogies. So the whole point of going to a large aircraft, an aircraft boogie, a jumping boogie, was to jump something bigger than your 4 or 5 seater Cessna on your local DZ.
Yeah.
And then Moorcell had this thing where it had access to the local airport, so they could even get in a Hercules. These are normally military supplied from the years previous. And then the year I went, they said, oh, sorry about that. We can't get the military Hercules. We went, you are kidding me. We only come for that. And they went, we've got this little one from America. And what was, it was a commercialized stretched Herc for a civilian company called Southern Air Transport.
Yeah.
It had about another 3-meter section between the props and the nose was pushed out. It was massive.
Yeah.
So they were loading up 140 skydivers in the back of that.
100
Was it 140? I didn't realize it was so many. Wow.
It was huge, was that one, Am? But
I remember I was there. Yeah. Wow.
The big story, the jump you had to be on was the naked skydive. So there were some gentlemen within the group that had a few snorts or something in the afternoon and said, Bob, we're going to do a naked skydive. And I kind of went, no, we're not. I said, you might do. I said, I'm not getting naked. I've got nothing to show. As my mother said, Robert, you're a grower, not a shower, young man. So it was the Skyvan. And the Skyvan would seat 20 skydivers with the Loadmaster. You have 2 rows of 5 on the floor, 2 rows of 5, sat on the little pull-down seats on the side. So Mike and Jeff decided they were going to go and do this naked skydive. We'd organised a little 8-way for them to just dock on at the end. And the way you set it up was you put your rig on first, you put some shorts on over your leg straps, and so at least you're half covered. And you got in the plane, and the routine was that on exit, you drop your shorts, and you get out and do your jump naked. So we thought we'd all be cool in the gang because we'd sussed this out. We'd really worked it out. That it was all safe. Rig on, shorts on, laughed. Jobs are good. We gets in the Skyvan, 2 rows of 4. I'm on the floor. Mike and Jeff, they're on the seats on the side. The European Loadmaster was amazing. And obviously, we thought we knew it all, and we knew nothing. And the Loadmaster knew everything. He leans over to me and goes,
if you want to go ahead.
Your friends are going to do the naked nude jump. And I said, yeah. He said, He said, when I open the door at altitude, they got a little tiny willy because it's really cold. I said, no. I said, if anybody knew Mike like I knew Mike, I said, no. I said, he's got a big knee slapper. And he's going, no. It's teeny tiny willy. It's really cold altitude, -5. Teeny tiny willy. We'll be laughing. And I'm like, no, tell you, it's a fucking big knee slapper the guy's got. He's going, no. So we're running in. So we get the green light. Mike just stands up. I whips his trolleys off. He whips himself around. He nearly takes a lady's eye out, sat on the floor next to me. The Loadmaster just turns around and goes, oh, bigger than Willie. I said, I told you not to. Well, we all just left. We exited the plane in hysterics. I don't know how we did it. We built a 5-way. We've got Jeff and Mike just coming in to pin at the end. All I could see was Mike coming into dock on this 5-way. And I thought, oh my God, his leg strap's come loose. He's going to be in trouble in a minute. Then I realised it wasn't his leg strap. It was his willy whipping about in the wind. Well, he docked on this 5-way. I'll never get rid of the picture out of my brain. And his willy's just whapping about like that in free fall, going, oh my God. We were all laughing like mad. We broke off, we dumped, we're flying in, we're landing. People were having hysterics. They were all going, oh, they spotted a naked skydiver. He landed literally next to his tent, absolutely racked him pain. We're going, what's up? He said, what's up? He said, look at me cock. It literally battered it was, black and blue, just be whapping about like that. Oh, so funny. Just didn't think it through. But,
I remember on that trip as well. I think it was Jeff and Mike. They bribed the pilot in the bar one night, bribed him with loads of beer, and said, first lift tomorrow, you give us 17 grand. I heard all these rumors that we're going to get 17,000 feet. Yeah, and we did. Was anyone else on that load?
Yeah, because do you remember the details of that? How that happened? So
tell me, I might not know everything.
Right. The pilot, because it was American civil aircraft, but the pilots were brilliant. They all turned, typical Americans. They were showing off. They were in the bar with all the kit on, and they were all immaculate. So they said to us, in the morning, you make sure you're on the first lift, and all your mates will take you up. They said, how far do you want to go? He said, 20 grand? Because they didn't understand that higher altitude was more fun for us. They didn't get it. Commercial pilots are just, lugging cargo. And went, oh, no. Yeah, the higher the better. But you want 20 grand? I went, oh, don't take us too high. We might all be collapsing, I said, no, don't worry about that. So you make sure you're on the first load in the morning. We got to the airport and they were all stood at the tailgate and they all shook our hands on the way in and gave us a nod and a wink. So I kind of told a few people this story that we'd all been buying the pilot's beer and we were going to get this VAT, this extra altitude thrown on top. And they were going, yeah, whatever. So the rule was at Morcel that you paid your €15 for your jump ticket, and we were getting 15 euros, 15 whatever it was, for 15,000 feet. If for whatever reason air traffic control had a plane coming in, commercial, and that had priority on airspace, if you only got 8 grand, 10 grand, that's all you were getting. Tough luck. So I went, oh, okay, that's the rules. So we're in this hyperlift, we're flying around, all of a sudden everyone's going, boo, boo. And we're going, what are they all booing for? Then we all looked, and your altimeter was stuck dead at 8,000 feet. And then,
yeah, remember.
Oh, pissing hell. Then the next thing the green light's coming on for the running. We're going, oh, God, we're going to be going now. So we're really only going to get 8 grand.
I knew what was happening.
Lord,
yeah.
opened the door, the tailgate just dropped down, a cloud of air rolled in, all the fuselage, went straight over our heads, and we all went, "What the fuck was that?" What we didn't know was that it was a commercial plane. The pilot knew we'd all be oxygen deficit, so he pressurized the plane, which held our altimeter at 8 grand, took us up to 20, stuck it on its nose, and we all put claims in at about 17, 18,000 feet. The funniest thing about that was we were so young and naive in our ability that we could probably have enough information to do a formation skydive that would last about 30 seconds. We're over Morcel, over France somewhere going, I've still got 12 grand to go and I've run out of ideas. Anybody got anything else to do? Going, anybody got anything? We did our little four-way, little thing of like, none of us had anything. We kind of like wasted all the altitude.
Of course.
Yeah.
Bob,
It was 90 seconds in free fall, minute and a half, and I was thinking, oh my God, I kept looking at my altimeter. We're still up here, my God, wow.
You think it's time, and you look at your altimeter, 9,000 feet, you think, wow.
Yeah.
Going on, but you can get hypoxia, you need oxygen, really. This is the thing. Over 10,000 feet, there's less air up there. So you can suffer from hypoxia. You could, in theory, pass out on the way down. So, going up to 20,000 feet is well dodgy with no air, no oxygen.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, we did when we were there, it was 14 and a half mainly, and 17 was the max. So they said. But, you could seriously. I mean, these halo jumpers, I've never done a halo jump, but I mean, the people who have, they all have oxygen, don't they?
Yeah.
There's a reason they have oxygen, because they need it. None of us had AADs in those days. Automatic activating devices for the benefit of people who are watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was something to put in your logbook, something to brag about. And so loads of people were quite impressed when I told them, wow, you jumped at 17 grand. I mean, wow. Yeah.
It was great.
You can see the curvature of the earth, can't you, from 17th? When you're on the tailgate, you think, wow.
That was our thing. We all put a claim in that we all saw that as well, because we think we did, and we all kind of agreed that we did. It was just, but it was one of them where, because everyone then was going, oh, we'll get it next, and we're going, no, you won't. He only said it with the first jump. You have to be on it, or be there or be square as such. And we were on it, and we got it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I heard the pilot got in trouble for doing that.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were really cool. They gave us a little badge. So did you not get your badge, Anne?
No, what's the badge? What badge?
Well, from the pilot, from the company, they had. So the company was called Southern Air Transport, and I really wish I could find my bag of kit, my logbook. And he gave us a metal pin badge.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't have lots, and we all got one. A few of us got them. Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's the next question. Malfunctions. How many malfunctions have you had in cutaways?
I had one. I should have had more, really, because there was a few that I hung on to way too long, waiting for them to work. But the one that I did have was me and Joe. We both left the aircraft at, I think, just over 2,000 feet, and we were getting together under canopy. So we opened the canopy straight away. We're linked up together. So Joe's canopy docked on my back. So I put my feet into the lines, and she then pull her toggles to give her canopy some lift, and that'd rise up behind me then. So I'm pulling myself down the lines in front of her, and the canopy just felt weird. And I looked round, it was just a bag of washing. It was just all collapsed. Oh. So what I did, I took my feet out of the lines, and I got hold of everything that I had hold of and pushed it away from me, thinking, well, a canopy will just drop down now and just naturally just reopen. And what had happened was, on top of her canopy, the bridle line that her pilot chute is attached to, which drags the canopy out of the container. Instead of hanging over the back, it must have been hanging over the front of her canopy. And it wrapped around one of my lines.
Yeah.
Right? So as it wrapped around one of my lines, I'd pushed her away. Her bag of washing had dropped away behind me, and it had pulled me. I felt like I was doing a back somersault right over the top of my canopy. That's how it felt. And I thought, whoa, it just centrifugal force just threw me right over the top. And I ended up flying around the outside like that. I've got half a canopy. I'm looking down at her. She's got a bag of washing above her head. And she's shouting, cut away. And I'm shouting to her, you cut away. I mean, I should have gone really first. But she ended up cutting away. And then everything went above me. Two bags of washing above me. But I remember when I was flying around the top, I had my hand on my cutaway pad and my hand on my reserve handle. And I remember, I can still remember the sound of the Velcro now as I lifted the pad off. So like that, I'm shouting, cut away, cut away. And so she cut away. And then I pulled the cutaway pad, right? And so to release me from the two canopies. And on the ripcord for my reserve, which goes over my shoulder through a metal tube, like a housing, over the reserve canopy, there was something else. It'd be too complicated to explain. There was something else attached to my ripcord. So that as I pulled my ripcord from the reserve canopy, it'd only pull so far and would jam in the housing, right? So as I pulled it, I got rid of my canopies. I go back into free fall, and because I've got my hands on my chest, I'm like a dart, and I just went head down, back into free fall. I could hear the wind speed picking up. I'm right over an old stone church and a graveyard, right? And I'm hurtling down towards this graveyard, and I pulled my reserve handle, and it just went dink and stopped. And I went fucking dink and it stopped again. And I got two hands on it. I thought it was going in. I got two hands on it and pulling it like that, and my reserve opened above my head. So the pin had already cleared the container, and my canopy was on its way out, but I didn't know. I'm just picking up speed towards this graveyard. So I looked down, Joe's canopy's beneath me, I'm under my canopy. So we both landed in this field. Danny Smith come running over. He'd been driving up to the centre, come over all flustered, and saying, I'm driving my car, I could see you wrapped together. He said, you cut away under reserves. And I said, oh yeah, you're all right, Dan. Honestly, I put my arm around him, I'm comforting him. And then we get back to centre then. So it was Graham Kirkman saying, get these two a hot drink and put plenty of sugar in it. That was on a Good Friday, that. So it was the first day of a 4-day weekend. And on that same weekend, we were then going to go up and build a 4-stack and try and do a pendulum with the bottom canopy going upside down.
Wow. Finish up going into it.
That was a hell of a weekend, Matt.
Yeah, sounds it.
So
what about you?
One cut away.
No malfunctions for me, which was a bit weird, but Terry could confirm this one. I did have a lot of really rubbish openings. And what was that red rig that we had? That was the
Wizard.
What was it?
The Wizard.
The Wizard. So I don't know why. My rig must have been at the Menders, I don't know, having the reserve repacked or something. So I had to jump the Wizard. And I'm kind of like a bit blasé about checking shit. So I just took it out of the kit store, and it was all packed. I thought that's good to go for me. And off I go. I said, Bob, I'm jumping. He said, yeah, take it. You're all right. I jumped. I dumped this Wizard. Holy shit. Big monster 9-cell thing. Deployed, fairly steady away. And then all of a sudden, when it fully inflated, it just went fuck off over my head. Pulled me right up behind it. I thought, where are we going? And it was like being on an instant roller coaster. And I thought, fucking hell, and then I grabbed all the brakes, calmed it down. I'm like that. Wow, I thought this was supposed to be like big old docile student.
Yeah.
So I comes tootling in. I must have been all ashen and white. Terry's on the deck. He goes, "What do you think to that opening?" I said, "Fucking hell." I said, "I don't know what's going on." He said, "Come here." I said, "Let's have a look at it." So when we laid it on the floor, he said, "You know these here, these brake toggles, yeah?" He said, "Well, perhaps pull them down and fucking store them before you jump at your deck."
Oh wow! So you didn't store the toggles. Wow.
The brakes hadn't been set, so it was just set on.
Wow.
Oh my god! It didn't half give me a fright. So I had, I kind of all of the weird openings, you know, that you could think of, and technology-wise, we had with the Blue Track, we started experimenting with the collapsible drones. And that was just another load of malfunctions waiting to happen because you'd pack it in a rush and you'd forget to reset it. So you'd jump, you'd deploy an already collapsed drone, and you're like that. Oh no, this drone's not going to open my canopy. And you're looking, you're going, and it'd be looking, it'd be like, it'll pull the bag out, but then it would never get the lines to pair. And you're going, oh, here we go. And then eventually you get a really, really slow opening canopy. But yeah, no malfunctions. Who was the world record holder though for malfunctions? Do you remember?
No.
Tony.
Who?
Tony Massey.
Tony Massey?
No, wasn't it the gentle giant, the tall guy that was really nicely spoken? Didn't he have about 4 or 5 on one day?
Someone's like Graham Birdman.
What's it called? The tall guy. Always away with the fairies. And I think didn't Mark Blanchard have a few as well? Tall guy. The one thing.
Oh, you know, Tony Bradbury, yeah.
Yes.
Tony
Really,
Bradbury.
He had a load, but this was a guy that was just kind of like really shouldn't have been skydiving because he was just not switched on enough.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember. What?
I was at Langer, and I don't know what happened. He must have told, you remember we all know Dave Morris, don't we? Dave Morris was a sky god, born a sky god. So Dave's like acting CCI down there, and he's got like 1 million jumps under his belt. And he goes, "Bob, this Tony Bradbury guy that's come down from your place at Cochrane." I said, "There's nothing to do with me." He said, "Well, he tells him he's one of your mates." I said, "Look, it's nothing to do with me. Whatever's happened, it's nothing to do with me." He said, "Well, I've grounded him for his own safety."
What? Why?
He said, "Fucking what's happened?" He said, "I'll tell you, Bob, what's happened." He said, "I saw him in free fall at 1,500 feet. Now, this is a guy, Dave Morris was a skydiver who had an eye, an ability, and a skill level that was way above and beyond what any of us were doing. The guy had 10,000 jumps and we had about 300 or 400 back in the day. So he really did know anything and everything. Now, if he says you were under canopy at 1,500 feet, you were getting grounded because it was genuine and that was it. And
wow.
He had me on it a couple of times on some aircraft boogies. We were doing it on purpose. So let's smoke it into 1,500. You go, yeah, all right. And he'd call you bluff on it going, well, that looked like 1,500 to me, Bob. You're in the bin for half a day, you know. And you're going, oh, bollocks. And he knew you'd called it right. So he goes, Tony Bradbury, I binned him off. He's grounded. I went, what for? He said, 1,100 feet, still in free fall.
Fucking hell.
So when he spoke to him, this is Tony's reply. He said, well, I tell you what happened, David. He said, I was in free fall over the backfield, and he said, I saw these bunny rabbits running across the field, and he said, do you know what? He said, I was just watching these bunny rabbits just running through the field thinking, oh, look at them there. And he said, I just lost time. He said, I didn't know where I was. I fucking knew where you were. About 3 seconds, I'm going in, you bastard. Yeah, nearly gave him a heart attack. He said, Bob, he said, he's just not with it, is he? I said, oh, yeah. Sometimes it can be a bit away with the fairies a bit. But yeah, it was like, bless him.
He's really nice, Tony Bradbury. Yeah, but he's
beautiful man, a beautiful
yeah.
man. But yeah,
at Cochrane, one day there was cloud cover, and the aircraft was up dispatching students, right? And they were putting them out over cloud. And I heard this opening, right? You get to know what the openings sound like. And I heard this opening and I thought, oh, that didn't sound good. And I couldn't see the canopy. I started running across the field and I ran down towards the runway and over to the right from there. And I kept running and I saw this canopy coming through the cloud. And as it come through, you could see it had ripped, right? And this rip went from the peripheral hem, which is the hem around the bottom of the canopy.
Yeah.
The rip went all the way up to the hem at the apex of the canopy, right at the top. It was one complete rip, and he rolled that canopy all the way to the floor.
he did.
Wow.
He didn't get his reserve out. If one of them hems had gone,
Are you ready for dinner yet?
It had just gone back into free fall.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember getting to him, right, and just to see if he was aware. And when I got to him, and I said, "You all right, Tony?" And he went, "Oh, hi, Terry. Hi, Terry. You all right? You all right? Hi, mate. Hi, you all right?" You know what he's like? And I said, "How was your jump?" And he said, Yeah, it went all right. It went all right. Yeah. I said, "So how was your canopy ride?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, it was all right. I might have had a bit of a problem." I said, "A bit? You know, Tony, you're lucky you're still alive, mate."
Wow.
Anyway, I walked back with him. As I was walking back, Cliff come out. First thing Cliff, you know what Cliff was like? He was quite mildly spoken, money and all that. First thing he said to me, he went, "Why the fucking hell didn't you get your reserve out?"
Wow.
Do not tell me you didn't see that rip. Honestly, how he survived that. That was incredible.
No.
Anyway.
Weird. So yeah.
I've got a story of a near miss if you want that one.
Go on. Yeah.
Anyway, so
We've all had a few, haven't we?
yeah, I can't see who's listening in on this, but if I know Paul got noticed that we were doing this, Paul Lim. So if he's listening in, so what we did, we went over to Blackpool to pick the aircraft up. It had been in for a service. So it was me, Paul, and Tony Massey. So Tony was using Mark's kit, right? Now Tony jumps a pull-out, which was a little pad on the bottom of your container that you just reach around and pull the pad. Mark's kit was a throwaway, which meant on the leg strap, there's a little toggle that you pull. So it's literally about 6 inches away. But he's really concerned about this throwaway, right? So all the way over, he's thinking, "Oh, you know, I'm not so sure about this. You know, you'll be all right, Tony. Tony, if you don't know where it is, just touch your leg and feel along your leg to your leg strap. You'll find the toggle. You'll be all right." So we gets over to Blackpool. We gets in the aircraft and we takes off. So Tony, he puts his frap hat on. He puts it on, pulls it down. And he goes, but his strap come off on his frap hat. Right?
Oh my God! Wow.
Honestly, he reaches into the back at pilot's seat, gets a bit of pull-up cord. So he ties that to the side of the frap. Honestly, it was a disaster from the start. He ties his pull-up cords and ties it to the other end of the strap. And then what he done, the strap was too short. So he's got his glasses on, right? And he puts the frap hat on. And as he's trying to fasten this bloody strap, he's pulling it down like that. As he's pulling his goggles down over his eyes like that. And he can't see. And he's pulling it down. And Tony, what are you doing? Anyway, we get over Cochrane, we get $7,000, right? So the problem was Tony's going to go out base. So he's going to lie there in free fall. Me and Paul are going to chase him and build a three-way. So he's still concerned about this throwaway. So he all gets out on the step. Boom. Ready, set, go. We're off. So Tony's there, lying there, free fall. So we chase after him. I gets to him. So he gets a grip on Tony. So I'm hanging on. I'm looking around for Paul. And we were sliding a bit and moving about. Anyway, I looked to my right. I sees Paul over to my right. And I looks at my ulti. We're just hitting $2,000, right? So I mean, oh, Paul, hurry up. So I can see Paul. I can see his face now. He flies across. He gets a grip. He just gives a quick shake like that, and he's gone, right? So we've already gone through $2,000. So I get Tony. So I pulls him across the eye, goes like that, gives him a kiss, and I turns round and pushes him off, and I dump out. And as I dump out, I've got my back to him, and I'm looking through my legs. I'm not checking my canopy. I can see him through my legs. And he just went, he's gone, right? And I can see him going for his main. And he can't find it. And I'm watching him. And I'm thinking, come on, Tony. Come on. And it got to a point where I thought, he's going in. And I looked, I'm on the canopy at 1,200 foot. Tony's still going. Right? So I can see him. I can still see him reaching round, and he starts to merge with the ground. I'm losing sight of him. And I'm thinking, what's it going to look like? This? He's going in. I got to a point where I thought, even if this reserve comes off his back or anything, he's no chance. And I saw this little bit of white, and even when I saw that, I thought, there's no way that's opening. And it just went bang and opened. Right? He had 8 seconds on the canopy, and he landed. Right? So we worked it out. Now, with his body weight, it was probably less. But we worked it out to about 150 foot. And I remember Sue Hill. She was on the ground. They were watching from the ground, right? And she said, they landed in the field behind the office. And she said, we could see him coming down because see spaces between his fingers and everything. Right? And so he's going at terminal. Now, terminal, right, at 120 miles an hour, you fall in 175 foot a second, right? We worked it out. He's on the canopy at 150 foot. Wow. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. And we got down. We all got grounded for weekend. The weekend, we were back jumping week after.
Tony Bradbury's in the back of the plane in this video.
All right.
I'm sure he is, if I remember.
Yes, I remember that. I do. He's right at the very back, and he's trying to take a photo of you on the step.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I've still got
I
that.
remember it.
Yeah. There he is, just looking over your shoulder there, Terry. Now. Terry kept getting in the way every time we went to take the picture. Terry's head was in the way.
Brilliant clip.
I cried when I saw that video. It brought back so many memories.
You can smell it and everything, can't you?
Yeah.
I've got the sound turned down on it anyway. There you go.
Look, there's the camera. Look. What's he doing with the camera in the plane? I mean, that, you'd have been grounded just for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was a belting picture he got of me, though, I must admit.
Was it? Oh, bless him, there's Gordon flying.
Yeah.
So talking of pilots then, favourite pilot, who have you got?
Gordon every time.
Gordon, yeah, I'd say Gordon.
Carl Bowen, he used to give us extra altitude.
Oh, Carl was good,
well,
yeah.
You know, once up at Cark, we were supposed to get 10,000 feet. And we got lost above the cloud, and Pringy radioed up, Carl, what height you at? Or what height you going to? He said 10,000 feet. He says, what height you at now? We said 12,000. And Pringy was like,
brilliant. What are you going to? 10. What are you at? 12.
Carl was always so generous.
Should have just like, hey, look how young you are there, Bob.
Oh, don't. Don't. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh my goodness me.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to wind it up soon. We've been on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours, 4 minutes.
I'm just putting my dinner in the microwave. It's 6 o'clock here. We're 4 hours behind you. We went over to daylight savings time earlier than everyone else. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Right. With Toronto.
It's been amazing.
It's amazing that we can talk.
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Graham, for putting this together, and thank you very much for the
we
invite.
must do it again sometime and get some more people on. I mean, it's Danny.
Yes.
I did speak to Bernie. Bernie Bamber's probably watching. All right, Bernie, if you're watching. I don't think he wanted to come on, but, it'd be good if we could get other people on as well.
Yeah.
There's Dave Parry there.
Oh, Dave Parry, yeah.
Yeah, and if people are watching, put an hello message on so we know who's in.
Yeah, I've not got any. For some reason, the chat's not coming up on my thing here. I don't know why. I'm not a techie. I should become a techie, shouldn't I, and get all these things sorted.
Oh, there's Bernie Whitaker, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday, honestly, or a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. 30 years ago, guys.
The packing tables. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Hubby.
Yeah. Good spot.
Look at that rocket. Standing over it. No health and safety. Eddie Davis.
Yeah.
Eddie Davis?
Yeah.
That wasn't the guy who died, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there was another Eddie. I don't know if it's the same one, but he didn't seem reckless to me. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with someone else. I don't know.
He didn't.
Velvet lighter.
He wasn't reckless. He just pushing the envelope.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Velvet lighter on rocket.
At me stood well back. I'm nearly out the car park. Safety, Bob, you're not taking me up. Brilliant. Does it?
I think something should have happened by now.
We're gonna have to wait till it launches before we go.
Guys, I'm gonna ring off now. My dinner's almost ready. It's in the microwave. So thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone.
It's been brilliant to talk to you again.
Okay.
First time in 30 years. I'm Bob. Brilliant. I have spoke to Terry once in 30 years on Facebook or something. But
okay. See you later. Bye.
See you, Anne. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Bye.
I'm going to wind it up, and thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, cheers, Graham.
One day.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Do another.
Thanks very much for coming.